Well, imagine for just a second an entire sector, both political and industrial, that raked in over $2.3 trillion over a 20-year war that ended up in zero net gain for global stability. Now, imagine that gravy train has come to an end. Our political system is backed by a massive military-industrial complex. Now, since the pullout of Afghanistan, they've been given a back seat. But when Russia invaded Ukraine, Biden promised to support them, quote, as long as it takes. The defense contractor salivated. The problem is, we can all agree that Russia's bad, sure, but we can't all agree on what is the best course of action and what the right amount of money to spend on it, especially when Maui's only getting $700 per household. My next guest wants to scrutinize not only the amount of money being spent in Ukraine, but the desired outcome of what appears to be a long-term conflict at this point. Well, joining me now is Missouri Congressman Mark Alford, member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, I saw this and I was like, he's speaking my language.
Thank you, Carl. Yeah, we've got to have some clarity on what is the strategy, what is the end game in Ukraine. Last Congress, the 117th, they approved $113 billion for the war in Ukraine. Now, $67 billion of that goes to direct military assistance. Only $26 billion of that has been spent so far. And it's gone through three funnels, Carl. The Presidential Drawdown Authority, where we send them our Abrams tanks, our old equipment, sure, and then we replace that. That counts out of the budget there. The direct Ukraine assistance, money goes directly towards the Ukrainian for their military operation. And then the foreign military financing, where we replace NATO countries who have shipped their armaments in for the war effort there. The problem is now the President of the United States has come back several weeks ago and said, hey, we want $20.6 billion more. To me, that is unacceptable. Spend what you have first and then come back and ask for more. And Carl, to add insult to injury, he is playing off the emotions and the heartstrings of the American people after the fire that devastated Maui, and is trying to tie this additional funding to support for wildfire fighters and other efforts in Maui. And we're predicting that he's going to try to tie it to aid in Florida after the hurricane there. This is sick. It is sad. It is despicable.
Yeah, but Congressman, I remember when I was a young SEAL, we had come back from a deployment and the Admiral was standing up there and he says, anybody ask me any question you want? And I raised my hand and I said, Admiral, respectfully, you know, I'm an E5 at the time, I'm a nobody. And I said, what's the desired end result in Iraq and Afghanistan? And they couldn't tell me. I feel like we're in the same, like, hamster wheel.
Well, Carl, I fully understand that. I mean, the order in which we serve, we are actually over the generals. And they have to come testify before us. We've got to get some answers to the situation. Where is the end game in this? Now, we get classified briefings ever so often. I've been in several of them in the House Armed Services Committee, and we're seeing some of the action that's going on, but we don't have a clear picture of the strategy. What is the end game? What is it going to take for Ukraine to declare victory in this?
Sure. Well, and the other thing, Congressman, and I've heard a lot of conflicting reports from people still in the military, people in your position. Are American munitions actually running low? And if so, why aren't we just producing specifically for Ukraine and keeping our own munitions for our own safety and security?
Well, I think part of this is we're producing ammunitions to resupply our stockpile. Some of this older ammunition that we're giving them, a lot of these are NATO rounds. But yeah, we have to be ready. We've got to make sure that the stockpiles are there. As you know, Carl, we have the pacing threat from communist China, and they could at any moment go after Taiwan, and then we have to help in Taiwan's self-defense. And so we have got to be ready for not just Vladimir Putin trying to take over not just Ukraine, but the Baltics, Moldova, and Poland. And then in that case, we really would have to get involved under Article 5. But we've got to be ready for China as well.
Congressman, I got about 30 seconds left. Historically, look, we armed the Taliban during the Cold War to kick the Russians out of there. Didn't work out so well when we had to go back into Afghanistan. Do you see any risk? I'm not making any accusations that, you know, our money and weapons going to fight us. But is that a worry that those weapons might fall into the wrong hands, like the $80 billion did in Afghanistan?
Well, that's always a concern, especially some of the new technology that's being used, the drone systems, that sort of thing. But I can assure you, we've got to stand behind Ukraine. They must win this. The issue that I have is no more money until we get some clarity on where this is all going to end up. And Joe Biden, spend the money we got you in the first place. This is like a home equity loan line of credit. You haven't maxed out the credit line yet. Don't come begging for more money from us.
Yeah, well, it's relieving to hear you say that, Congressman. So we do appreciate you being here, sir.
Thank you.
All right.